Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. You'll have to excuse the rain, you have to excuse the wine. It's excuses time. I was hoping that would have stopped, but if I leave it much longer it's going to start getting dark. Hence the later in the day drink rather than the earlier in the day coffee stuff. I'm going to pot up the pleiones that I got from Burnham's. Now, I've done potting up videos for pleiones, or video, and I've done a repotting video for pleiones. So you might not want to watch this because it is a repetition, but I'm going to do, there's 5 pots, 5 different types, and I'm going to mix up the media, and I doubt if I'll mix enough. If I don't, I'll stop, mix some more and come back. You don't want to watch me do it twice, do you? What do you mean you don't want to watch me do it once? At this time of year, when there's not much to film, I'm taking advantage of every possible thing that I could film. Now, I don't know whether I'm going to need all this, but the easiest way to do this is to tip it all out. And what I don't use, I can put back in the bag, can't I? So we'll put that to one side. So that's all my bark. I have more. There is a new bag, but it's still a bit damp in places. If I have to use it, it won't be the end of the world, on the grounds that there's dry elements and damp elements, and they will cancel each other out, basically. Love this stuff. It's got a lovely feel to it, compared with the big chunky stuff that I'm normally used to. But, you know, this is quite a fine mix, really. Right, and then we need, for the amount of bark I've got here, we're going to need a lot of moss. So I will grab a chunk, drop half of it on the floor, and then we will proceed to just tear it up. And I won't be quite so fussy this time round, as long as it's in relatively small pieces. If there's a few bigger pieces in amongst it, it's not the end of the world. Looking at what came out of the ones that I repotted, that were potted by Mathers, they certainly hadn't broken up their moss into small pieces. I'm only doing this because of the size of the bark, and if the moss isn't in small pieces, it won't distribute throughout the whole pot very easily. So that's my reason for breaking it up. And I'm doing it in chunks, so that I'm tearing many pieces together at the same time. Some of it's sort of falling off in larger pieces anyway, but just by tearing at it, it's obviously going to be smaller than if I didn't do it. And occasionally you come across quite hard lumps in this dried moss, and at least it gives me a chance to break those up. But this is not absolutely necessary. I just want to do it because I feel more comfortable. The type of roots that the pleiones actually produce, they don't need a harsh mix. I mean, effectively, where they grow naturally, they are sort of terrestrials, and I say sort of because they don't grow in the dirt, they don't sort of grow in the ground. They tend to grow in mossy places, like fallen trees that have started to rot. So you've got some stuff breaking down, and you know, the normal sort of moss coming from the fact that they grow in forests, so they're damp, you know, tend to have more moisture around than out in the open. So that's their sort of environment. The thing that I do wonder about is that if they're forest dwellers, there's an awful lot of people seem to think they need bright light. Not so sure. Seriously, I'm not so sure. And I've just realised I've got the camera pointing at me. I did that last time as well. I do apologise. I will dip the camera down. You haven't missed much. Didn't miss much because all I'm doing is breaking up moss here, so. And in a minute, I'll when I've done this bit, I will have a mix and judge by eye whether I need some more or not, because this is a very large batch of media, but I have got 5 pots to fill up. And what I haven't done is put some chunky bark in the bottom of the pots, which I will do before I fill them up with this stuff, because it would be a waste of filling the pots up with this stuff. It's not necessary. That's not enough moss, so we'll grab another handful. Start again. Just sort of plucking at it just to, you know, make sure there aren't any big lumps or really long pieces. This isn't the really expensive moss. If you pay for the, I was going to say long grain, long strand moss, the higher quality, I think it's 3As or 3Xs or 3 something or others, you're going to pay nearly twice as much. But it's more durable, lasts longer, and it enables you to do those little things that you do for the neophenesias, you know, where you do like a ball of moss and wrap the roots round this sort of, you get one of those tiny little baskets, you know, open plastic baskets, turn it upside down and put the roots all over it like that, and then wrap it in moss. You need the long strand moss for that, and obviously you don't want to be doing that too often, so it needs to last longer. So the really expensive stuff does that. I've never bought any of that. I've never had a need for it really. So as I mix this, I'm coming across a couple of lumps here and there. Right, it's getting somewhere near it, but there's still not really enough moss in there, so we'll grab another lot. It's the really long bits and lumpy bits I'm trying to avoid. Somewhere near it. Yeah, I reckon that's somewhere near it. I mean, it's I've chosen this mix. This isn't the only mix you can grow peonies in. Sarah doesn't use any moss when she grows hers. Those that don't sell get potted up to get them into flower to take them to the early shows of the year. So, you know, I think that'll do. Get that out of the way. Now we get the dusty stuff out. This is perlite, and it's the largest grade perlite you can get in this country. I don't know, I still don't know why in this country you can't get the larger grade. I think they call it sponge rock in the States. But we can't get it here. This is the largest grade, and wherever you go, you know, to buy perlite, it will say large grade, and when you look at it, you know, the millimetres, it's not large at all. It's that size. That's not large. Not large at all. Right, I'm going to keep my face back, because I am getting a bit near the bottom of the tub, so there'll be some dust. And I don't want it up my ooter. We'll need some more of this. Get another tub. It's not that expensive. not much left in there, but it might do for a small mix of something. I do have another tub that was getting low, so I opened the new one, but I might, you know, if I need any more and this isn't enough, I think it might be. Right, I'll just break off for a minute because I need to go and put some chunky bark in the bottom of these pots to take it up to about there, because I only need 2/3 of these pots with this media. I don't need it right down to the bottom. Probably take the whole season for the roots to get down that far, so I'll be back. Right, there we go. Now these have got labels. They've actually got a label per bulb, which I don't need, but I will use Sarah's labels simply because they're already there, they're already done. Right, so now we put some of this media in. Somewhere to work. There we go. Now I'm not filling the pots right up. I will give them a tap. This doesn't need to be firm. Still needs to be some air. Now we've got 2 bulbs here, 2 large bulbs. And what I want is for the new growths to be pointing into the corners, like that, so that they've got room to expand into decent sized bulbs. And then what I'll do is I'll gently go round and top up, and that will help hold them in place. Now some people leave 1/3 of the bulb sticking out, some people leave half, some people leave 2/3 of the bulb sticking out. I'm going to leave about half. Alright, that's the yellow one. So that is Shantung Ducat. I'll do pop-ups in case anybody wants to sort of look them up or something. Right, so that's one. Oh, look what I've just found. It was hiding. And it is starting to get dark. I mean, it's a dull, dismal day anyway. It's half dark before it started getting dark, if you know what I mean. Oh, I'm going to have far too much mix, aren't I? Never mind, it will keep. Right, so that's that one. Next, I'm not doing these in any particular order, it's just as they come out basically. Now we've got 3 relatively small bulbs here, and this is Marion Johnson Bubs. I don't know what Bubs is, I'm not sure. Short for something? Anyway, I'm going to try and find the new growths and point them to the edge of the pot again, if I can. If there's one new growth on each side, then I'll have to think again. But again, the bulbs go in the middle, leaving room for the new growths to expand. Now these bulbs aren't that large, so I don't need to worry about pointing them at the corners. That's not necessary, not in this case. Johnson, whoever she is or was. I'm going to put these up here. I'm running out of space down here. Right, and the next one. There's a little production line here, isn't there? Well, it is. Doing 5 at once. It would be silly trying to do these one at a time, wouldn't it? Just pick it up, do it all together. Right, so the next one, this is another 3. I think all the rest of them are 3s actually. The yellow one was the only one that I only got 2 of because they were the expensive ones. Again, 3 relatively small bulbs. This one is Quizapu Peregrine. Fastest creature on the planet, for those of you who don't know. Peregrine falcon. We are lucky enough to have a reasonable population in this country now. They've recovered incredibly well. Now that the gamekeepers and everybody else stopped persecuting and shooting them, they've actually progressed quite well now. We have a pair on the Christchurch Priory that nest. They're often seen flying out over the harbour or out over the marsh, hunting. There was a pair, I don't know whether they're still there, on the University Clock Tower in Bournemouth. And that's right in the town centre. You know, the camera that they had set up for people to watch, you could see all the traffic in it. You know, it was quite a busy area of Bournemouth. Not in the middle of the town as such, but certainly in a busy area. There we go. So I'm taking the moss off of the top where I can, because it doesn't do much good there. Because obviously it's just going to dry really fast. It will just evaporate off, so it doesn't do much good. So that's that one. A lot more good down in the pot. Next one, number 3. Larger ones this time. Right. So as you can see, I'm making sure that the new growths are actually pointing away from the centre, so that obviously they've got room to expand as the season goes on. And effectively, by planting them up like this, at the end of the season, as we go into dormancy, the middle of the pots will be empty, because these bulbs will be gone. These bulbs we're looking at now will completely disappear. They will rot down to nothing during the season. While the others, hopefully at the base of some flowers, which would be nice, no guarantees, but we should see some blooms. Those will be the bulbs that swell up during the growing season. Feed and water well and all that. Some people have said, what fertiliser are you going to use? I use the same fertiliser for all of my orchids. I don't chop and change. I used to muck about. I do add some CalMag occasionally. Not all the time, just now and again, just like an extra little boost. And if you do that sort of thing, you need to know what you're doing, because it's not just a matter of bumping up your parts per million with a supplement. What you end up with has still got to be in balance, so you don't want a massive dose of calcium without anything else to go with it, because it will just negate some of the other nutrients. It'll stop them working. So you need to know what you're doing. Go down that path. And if you're not sure, well then don't. Not absolutely essential. but it does, calcium in particular, provides strength to cell walls and stuff. So it strengthens up the plants a bit. Helps with other things as well, but right, so what have we got now then? Medium-sized ones. Difficult to find the new growth on that one, it's quite tiny. Right, and this was the last one. Did I tell you what the previous one was? No, I didn't, because I don't remember saying that. Santorini was that one, over there. And the last one is Vesuvius Leopard. Right, so these will all get some water. They won't get much, but effectively this media will not hold water very well at all. It's going to run through and become dry very quickly. I just want the base of the plants to get a touch of moisture, just to help trigger them off, perhaps, I don't know. I'm reasonably certain that the slight rise in temperature this time of year, and in addition to that, the longer daylight hours are what triggers these back into growth. People who keep them in the fridge over winter, obviously they have no daylight and they have no change in temperature, so they stay dormant until that changes. Well, if bringing them out of the fridge instigates that change, then that is what triggers it. It's daylight and temperature rise, so these are going to get the same. So let's get that out of the way. And then what I'm going to do with these, I've got 5 here, and I've got 1, 2 over there. Typical 7, always the way, isn't it? Oh well. 6 then. What I want to do is put them in, I'll put them in a pair, because these on their own are a little flimsy. They're quite firm, but 2 are rigid, and the idea is to put these in here. I'm not going to stand them in water. I mean, these are the trays I use for the deicers, and some of the deicers are in the similar pots. But this will help me carry them all at once, so that when I do actually want to water them, I don't have to pick up 5 pots and bring them from wherever they are over here to water them. I just pick up 1 tray. And what we'll do is we'll put one of the previous lot in here as well. So that will make the 6. Right, so those will get a drop of water now. And that's all my pleiones potted up now. I have no plans to get any more. I said, I have no plans to get any more. If some get stuck under my nose with blooms that I really like at reasonable prices, then I might get some more. But obviously people who sell pleiones, once they start coming into flower, they tend to put the prices up quite a lot. And that's fair enough, because they've had to pot them. So you're not just getting bare rooted bulbs in a brown envelope, you're actually getting a pot and media and bare rooted bulbs, well, and that are now pushing up flowers. So, you know, you can understand them wanting to charge a bit more. So there we go. That's what they look like potted up. These on the end are quite large bulbs, so they appear to have a lot more sticking out the top. It's because they're such big bulbs. They've still only got the same amount sticking out the top, about a third, but they're much bigger bulbs, so it looks like a lot more. And there are some quite small bulbs in amongst these that I've got, but maybe I can grow bigger ones. We shall see. I mean, all of the ones from Sarah came from, I believe, from a single supplier who is a private grower, you know, hobbyist or whatever you call it, that has quite a lot of surplus that she is quite happy to sell on to Sarah to then sell on to anybody who wants them. And I noticed that Sarah's actually put either a video or a notice, one of the others, showing all the pleiones all packaged up ready to be posted out with a big thank you to everybody that's bought them. If you watch my channel and you've bought some as a consequence of me going to Burnham's and selecting some and doing various videos, if you're in that category, it would be nice if you left a comment saying so. Because it would be nice for me to be able to say to Sarah when I see her that some of those people who bought those pleiones came over to you from me. That would be nice. It'd get me in the good books. I think I'm in the good books anyway. I don't have to creep. Anyway, so that's that, and that really is the last video for some time now. We won't start videoing the pleiones again until they do come into proper growth and we can actually see stuff coming out the top of the pots, which I don't know how long that's going to be. But at Mather's they are in bloom March and February. Well, we're well into January now. I don't know how quick the spikes progress and open because I haven't had them in that stage before. I've only bought them actually in bloom, not coming into bloom, so we've still got that to discover. But yeah, I mean, if these are going to bloom at the normal pleone time, then I expect them to come back into growth soon. We shall see. I've got to find somewhere to put them now. Until I rearrange the grow room, in which case they've got a shelf, you know, ready to go for them, but not at the moment. So I know where I'm going to put them, but I've got to move some pots, I'm going to move some plants first. I've got a shelf with my Miltoniopsis on, not the ones in bloom, the others, and I've only got 4 of Derek's plants left, and I'm pretty sure those are odont types. So they can share a shelf, and then these can go where Derek's plants are. That's the wrong tray. Or in fact, for now, they can go on the shelf that Derek's plants are on by just squashing the pots up a little bit. So I've got a place for these. The others are on the black tables with the Deesers. So we shall see. So hopefully we will get something poking out of the pots. Whether I can call that green stuff or ready green, I don't know. We have to wait and see. Anyway, thanks for dropping by and all that, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.